Hi everyone, I welcome you all back to my channel Gratitude with yet another episode. I would again like to begin this episode by thanking each one of you who has watched my video, liked my video, commented on my video, and who has subscribed my videos. And for the ones who haven't subscribed my channel yet, I would urge them to subscribe my channel so that you are updated with all the episodes I am coming up with. So today I am going to speak about jealousy. As has been the case throughout, I take a topic which is generally perceived and considered to be negative by most of the people. I have again chosen such a topic on which is jealousy. So, most of us, in fact, each one of us knows that what jealousy is, because maybe today, yesterday, or tomorrow, that is something which everyone encounters throughout his journey. But have you ever tried to look into the causes of jealousy? Why do we actually feel jealous of something? I guess most of us haven't. Jealousy is a very outwardly phenomenon. It is not something which happens from the inside. Though you can feel it because it is a feeling, it is an abstract noun. You'll have to feel it, but it is not something which is innate, which is inborn. It is something which is just an offshoot of the conditioning we go through. So let's take an example. So I might be jealous of someone because that other person might have something which I don't have, or maybe I'm not even capable of having that. So this feeling of jealousy is not because something is around me. Something which I have, but it is that exists because of something which I haven't. But it is not only about that, it is because the other person has it. So suppose if I don't have this, and if no one else has this particular thing, I'll never be jealous. I'll be jealous only when the other person has a thing but I don't have. And the reason could be anything due to which I cannot have it. And it is just what do you say? It is quite weird for me to. It is quite weird for me to realize that most of us are jealous only about a certain set of things. We have been conditioned in such a way. We have been conditioned from the very beginning, because the premise of our growth is dependent upon the jealousy factor we have. So let me repeat it again. So our growth is dependent on the jealousy factor of quotient we have. So most of us can recall that we were given examples when we were child of other children, so that they can we can reach to their level. But that was not the objective, that was not the goal, because the moment you reach that person's level, you were given some other person's benchmark. So you always had to calibrate with someone else. And when you were given examples of different children, you had that feeling of jealousy. And from that point, you started feeling that it is only jealousy which can move you upward. It can actually push you and force you to grow in your life. However, that can be the case, but do we really need jealousy in order to grow? In all the cases? No, we don't. Why do we have to reach someone else's level? Why can we not have a level of our own? If you have to reach out that person whose benchmark you were being given, you'll understand that he has also been given a benchmark of someone else. So that is a chain, that is a cycle that keeps on going. You will never reach that goal. And because of that continuance of variation of benchmarks, we keep on carrying this jealousy factor, because we realize We believe that it is only jealousy which can take us forward. Why can there not be a world where everyone is growing in his or her own direction, and we can reach a stage where we are unique in our own ways. There are certain basic things which we must all be aware of. I cannot deny it. But do we really need to match everyone else's level? And what we don't realize is that even if we are trying to match that person's level, he is struggling to match someone else's level. This jealousy again gives us an opportunity where where we can realize that we are moving outward, we are moving outside from ourselves, and that can act as a check for us to return to ourselves. We'll have to understand that if we start chasing something which we don't have a control upon, we'll never be joyful, we'll never be happy. In order to be happy, we must have a control over our own self. We must try to move as inwardly as possible. I'm not blaming anyone per se, because no one realizes that he or she is conditioning him or her in such a way. But yes, we have been following this phenomena for I don't know since when. Let's try to understand, to push people to move inward, to chase something which can be achieved and not something which is beyond our reach only. Why are we not jealous of moon? Why are we not jealous of a tree? Why are we not jealous of a bird? Why are we not jealous of something which we can never match? Why? We should realize that we have been taught to chase the things which we can achieve, but it is really beyond our reach. It seems that we can reach, we can achieve it, but we cannot, because that is a shame. That is again, there's no end to it. It's as good as having a control over the moon, or maybe star, because we humans have somehow managed to reach the moon, but we haven't reached the star yet. So if we are jealous of something, it is because we feel we are incapable of achieving it, or maybe we are capable of achieving it, but we are not putting in all our efforts to achieve it. But if we actually feel that, if we actually sit and think upon it, we'll realize that it is not something we need. It is something which our conditioning has made us to want. It is not something we need. The things we need, we already have. What makes us suffer are the things which we don't need but want, and that want is unlimited. For all the commerce students, or for all the people who have read something about economics, or maybe almost each one of us would have learned this from someone, that wants are unlimited. They actually are. But you or me, or in fact no one has ever heard that needs are unlimited, because needs are limited, and we are actually blessed to have whatever we need, but we just don't realize it. We keep on chasing the things which we want but don't need. And jealousy comes from the things we want and not from the things we need. Jealousy makes our life worse. let's not be jealous. Let's try to uh, create a difference between what we want and what we need. And wants arise only when you see a particular person having that. Otherwise there's no point of being jealous of anything at all. So jealousy again, it comes with an opportunity where you can think, where you can understand, where you can realize that wait, it is done. Let's just try to shoo it off. Let's just try to get rid of jealousy and the wants, and let's just try to focus on what we need. Because in fact there's no point of focusing it, there's no need of focusing on the needs because we already have it. Let's just focus on ourselves. Let's try, actual growth is when you grow alone. And I would like to put it in a way that actual growth is when you grow, and not when your wants are growing. Because the moment you achieve one of your wants, you'll hop on to other want. So just because your wants are increasing does not mean that you are growing. You're not growing, boss. You will grow only when when there is a growth which is inwardly. So let's take jealousy as is and try to use this to move inside ourselves, to move inward, because that is what will make us grow. That is how a real growth should be. This was my take on jealousy. I know it is a negative thing, but it also comes with a positive aspect. We must try to look at the positive of it. Negatives will always exist, because that is what makes positive. So I hope I would have made some difference in your understanding of jealousy, and I hope you will subscribe my channel. And I hope you like and comment on my videos also, so that I can that can just give me an urge to continue making such videos, such content. And I'm truly thankful to you guys. Thank you.